So I listen to a lot of metal music. It's basically become my whole identity at this point, as no matter what, I'm most likely listening to some metal band I like, and there's a band that I happen to love a lot that I feel like more people need to know about. Acid Bath are a sludge metal band from Houma, Louisiana, and from 1991 to 1997, they teared the ass up of the underground metal scene. While they were around, they didn't really gain a whole lot of attention outside of Louisiana, which is a fucking crime, because these guys should have taken over the world, honestly. There was a period for like 7 months straight where I listened to nothing but Acid Bath and the band's post-breakup projects. Now here's an accurate reenactment of my first time listening to this band.
Time to see what this band's all about. I shit my pants.
Yeah, I fell in love with these guys immediately. These guys managed to capture me in a way that not many bands have. Now you might be asking, who actually are these guys? And if you're not, shut the fuck up. The band consists of Sammy Duet and Mike Sanchez on guitars, with Sammy also doing backing vocals sometimes, Jimmy Kyle's on the drums, Aldred Pitchy's on the bass, and of course, the cutest who down in Whoville, Dax fucking Riggs. Dax is a natural treasure. He deserves a video all on his own. The band would actually go through a couple of names before deciding on Acid Bath, with them even making a demo under the name Golgotha. This demo would set the stage for what would later become the band's debut album. They later switched their name to Acid Bath after finding out there was already a band named Golgotha. They made another demo called Hymns of the Needle Freak, which I couldn't find for the life of me. And this demo actually got them signed to Rotten Records. Rotten Records are an independent music label and are the bane of this band's existence. Since they own the right to all of Acid Bath's music, these guys feel the need to just bury their music for some reason. It wasn't even up until a few years ago where you can find their stuff on streaming services. They would, and still do, take down YouTube re-uploads of the band's work, cause fuck you. Fans have had to get real creative over the years to get Acid Bath's music out there and not get taken down by these scumbags. Fuck Rotten Records. The bands would put out 2 albums during the time that they were around, both of which are God's gift to this world. That God of course being Dax. Their debut, When the Kite String Pops, would release in 1994 and is commonly regarded as their best work. The album cover features artwork by serial killer John Wayne Gacy. Their following album, released in 1996, Paegan Terrorism Tactics, also featured artwork from murder doctor Jack Kevorkian? Whatever. However, that album had an alternate cover that— hey, wait a minute. So after all that backstory bullshit, let's actually talk about the music. Musically, I can't get enough of these guys, if you couldn't tell by the dick sucking I gave them earlier. Every song on these 2 albums hit. There wasn't a single one I didn't like. The subject matter can be a bit edgy in these albums, but that sort of thing would appeal to people who are screwed up in the head. Much like you. With lyrics consisting of, but not limited to, and iconic. As I'm sure it was the same for a lot of you watching this, it was Scream of the Butterfly that turned me into an Acid Bath fan. It just captured me with its dark sound and the lyrics being so haunting. Tranquilize is also an all-time classic that never gets old. That song seems to showcase the band's more hard rock side than their metal side. My favorite off their debut would probably have to be Toubabo Koomi. This is actually the only song the band made a music video for. The video's pretty cool. The band is in a dirty-ass swamp surrounded by alligators and shit. It's awesome. Finger Paintings of the Insane is another great one. It also probably has the edgiest lyric on When the Kite String Pops. Now when it comes to Paegan Terrorism Tactics, I actually kinda like this album more than their debut. It's less sludgy this time around, which I actually prefer, though of course those moments still exist. It's more melodic too. Dax actually sings more here than it feels like on the last one. You can hear that clearly in songs like Greyflower and Dead Girl. However, the times he's screaming on this album sound way better than on the previous one. I mean, just listen to Diab's Soule. Dax sounds like he's screaming from the depths of hell here. I also love how this album starts. It wastes no time getting to the good part by exploding into Pagan Love Song. Probably one of the best ways to open an album, and one of their best songs too. Now after Acid Bath dropped these 2 masterpieces back to back, you'd think they have a very long and successful career, right? Well, you must not have been paying attention, dumbass. During the creation of their second album, the band would basically begin to fall apart. The band couldn't really agree on what direction they wanted to go in. Dax would also keep writing songs that weren't as heavy as some members wanted, which I guess explains why Paegan Terrorism Tactics sounds the way it does. Sadly though, Not long afterwards, tragedy would strike the band. One night, bassist Audie Pitchy and his family were out driving in their car. Their car would actually end up being hit by a drunk driver, killing Audie and his parents. Because of this, along with previous drama going on internally, the band would make the decision to break up. They tried continuing without Audie, but according to Dax, it just felt like a sham. After the breakup, Sammy Douay would go on to form the band Goatwhore, and Dax would go on to create one of the greatest albums on this planet. But that's a story for another time. Since then, there's been rumors of them looking for a vocalist, and even something about Corey Taylor wanting to work with them. Though nothing ever came out of these, sadly. It's a real shame that we never got more out of these guys, but I'm glad we were able to get anything from these guys at all. These albums are timeless, and I absolutely think they deserve more attention. So please, listen to these albums. You can find them on most streaming services nowadays. I'd like to thank the Acid Bath Archive for supplying me with all this footage. Without them, I probably wouldn't be able to make this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And until next time...
What the fuck's up, Diddy?